Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the New York Invasive Species Awareness Week webinar series. Today's webinar will be on navigating the Certified Weed-Free Products Program. My name is Rachel Taylor, and I'm the Community Science and Engagement Program Manager for Western New York Partnership for Regional Invasive Species Management. And I will be facilitating the webinar today. First, I'd like to start with some housekeeping. If you're having any technical problems, please feel free to send a message in the chat. And if you have any questions for the speakers, we're going to take them after their presentation. So please enter them into the Q&A anytime throughout the presentation. And also, please note that the cameras and microphones are turned off for attendees. If for some reason your microphone is on, if you could please mute yourself during the presentation. And this event is part of New York's Invasive Species Awareness Week, also known as NYISAW. During the week of June 9th through 15th, events are being held across the state to raise awareness on invasive species issues and encourage folks to get involved with managing and doing different things with invasive species. We encourage you to stay involved with your local partnership for regional invasive species management, which is a coordinated group of organizations and community members working together to prevent the spread of and manage invasive species. And just to mention a couple of upcoming events, tomorrow's webinar will discuss the impact of water chestnut on the Hudson, the management and research taking place today, and the possible future management options. So be sure to check that out tomorrow at 1 p.m. Also on Saturday, June 14th, is Western New York PRISM's 8th annual Letchworth Stewardship Day, where we'll work together to remove the invasive grass slender false brome at Letchworth State Park. And to learn more about New York Invasive Species Awareness Week and see a list of all the planned events across the state, including the ones I've just mentioned, please go to the NYIS.info website that's here on the slide, and the links to these events will also be added into the chat. And for today's NYISAW webinar, I am excited to introduce our speakers, Christie Trifone Millhouse and Jodi Hougan, both with North American Invasive Species Management Association, also known as NAISMA. Christie serves as the Executive Director of NAISMA. With over 25 years of experience in the conservation sector, Christie brings a wealth of knowledge and strategic vision to her leadership role. As Executive Director, she oversees the development and implementation of innovative policies and programs that address invasive species management across North America. Her leadership is characterized by a commitment to fostering collaboration among diverse stakeholders, including land and water resource managers, agency directors, and nonprofit organizations. Christie's expertise and dedication ensure that NAISMA remains at the forefront of invasive species management efforts, actively empowering endeavors across the continent. And Jodi Hougan is NAISMA's program assistant. She supports multiple programs, mainly supporting NAISMA's Weed-Free Products Program and Biocontrol Committee. Jodi is passionate about making a difference and supporting the NAISMA community. She comes from a background in administrative support with knowledge of creating and managing policies and procedures, managing multiple businesses at once, and being a force for growth. Thank you both so much for being here today to help us celebrate NYISAW by sharing how to navigate the Certified Weed-Free Products Program. And with that, I will stop sharing my slides.
Thank you, Rachel. Greetings, welcome, and happy Invasive Species Awareness Week, New York. As Rachel mentioned, my name is Christie Trifone Millhouse, the Executive Director here at the North American Invasive Species Management Association. And from here on out, I'll refer to us as NAISMA. So our presentation today is intended to provide you with an overview of our NAISMA Certified Weed-Free Products Program, how to create the program in your state, some exciting changes we'll be unveiling over the next year, and programmatic management. But before jumping into details, of the presentation today, I'd like to share with you a bit more about who we are and what we do. NAISMA is deeply vested in our mission to empower the management of invasive species across all of North America. As an international member-driven nonprofit organization, we're dedicated to serving our members through programs that shape and elevate the invasive species management community as a whole. We're led by an eclectic group of professionals that represent a diverse range of expertise and geographies. And we've got committees that help to lead by specialists designed to provide NAISMA programming with perspectives from all aspects of the management sector. And I encourage you to consider joining one of these committees. It's an opportunity to share your skills with NAISMA and to network with a larger stakeholder group. From our managers in the field to those in Washington advocating for legislation and funding, we support all of you. We are the leading organization that represents a collective voice for this work throughout North America. So what do we do? At the heart of what we do is our programming. So we frame our programs around three core pillars: the connection, the tools, and the voice. NAISMA works hard to provide opportunities for collaboration and connection through our webinars, summits, and annual conference. Speaking of which, mark your calendars. Our annual conference is coming up. We'll be gathering together November 3rd through the 6th in Lake Tahoe. Hope to see you there. Head to naisma.org to get registered. So in addition to connections, we equip our community with the tools needed to manage lands and waters and educate the public about invasive species. Our NAISMA Academy has some great course offerings, including the Certified Weed-Free Products Inspector training, which you'll hear more about in just a little bit. And finally, we strive to provide that collective voice on a national platform to advocate for relevance and support through our government relations programming and events that we host, like our National Invasive Species Awareness Week, which we refer to as NYISAW. So your access to these and many other opportunities can be found through membership. I know we've got a few NAISMA members on the call today, but I would strongly encourage you to consider membership to NAISMA. And you can find access and information on our website. Additionally, there are ways to support NAISMA and get recognized as a leader in the field. We've just unveiled a new Premier Partner program that's designed to boost your local efforts and support our international work and expansion. Again, for more information about this exciting new opportunity, head to naisma.org for more details. So as you know, invasive species are relentless travelers, hitchhiking rides on any material they come into contact with. Their movement is often accelerated through transportation pathways. And without proper oversight, these pests are introduced to new environments and quickly spread and disrupt native ecosystems. NAISMA's Certified Weed-Free Products program is a non-regulatory program that provides essential benefits across multiple sectors. These certified industry products meet rigorous standards established by NAISMA to prevent their spread. Currently, this program includes products like forage and hay, mulch, compost, and gravel. So for land and water managers, certification ensures compliance with weed-free standards, reduces the risk of spread, and minimizes costly remediation efforts. For our industry leaders, agricultural producers, suppliers, and construction folks, the benefits from certified materials are that they meet regulatory requirements and can be seen in an improved product reliability and enhanced marketability. These products also promote sustainable business practices while mitigating legal and environmental liabilities. For conservation efforts, weed-free product certification helps to protect natural ecosystems by supporting biodiversity, habitat restoration, and long-term environmental health. By implementing the NAISMA science-based certification standards, we enable stakeholders to confidently use products that safeguard our economic interest and our environmental integrity. So I'm going to jump into a bit of a background on the program's history. It was one of our first programs here at NAISMA. In 1993, NAISMA was founded as a grassroots initiative by county and state land managers in the West. They recognized an urgent need for a unified approach to controlling noxious weeds across jurisdictional boundaries. And at the time, invasive species were rapidly spreading across state and federal lands, threatening rangeland, agriculture, and critical natural resources. And despite these growing challenges, there were no continental-wide cooperative programs to address weed management across different regions. Federal and state agencies also lacked standardized protocols for certifying weed-free products. So to address these challenges, land managers from multiple jurisdictions collaborated to develop agreed-upon standards for invasive terrestrial plant species control. And this led to the launch of the Weed-Free Forage and Gravel program here at NAISMA, which provided those inspection and certification guidelines for producers. So the Weed-Free Products program began with a strong focus on forage, recognizing it as a major transportation pathway. But over time, the program expanded to include gravel, mulch, and compost, broadening its impact on land management and environmental protection. And I will note that we are currently exploring an option to add soil to this product listing. In 2022, NAISMA was awarded funding from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act to expand our certified weed-free products program and develop resources to overcome barriers to consistent program implementation across the nation. The first step in this expansion was conducting a comprehensive market research study on all current products in the program. These studies provided critical insight into the structure of various sectors, identified key players and the dynamics from producers to consumers. This understanding has allowed NAISMA to build strong relationships with national industry associations, ensuring that the program aligns with those industry standards and is perceived as valuable, high-quality initiatives. These partners continue to play a key role in maintaining the program's relevance and impact and will help us to grow. Leveraging the findings from the market research, we've developed a robust marketing plan and toolkit that will go into effect shortly. But this toolkit and marketing plan will effectively communicate the program to diverse audiences. It will include brochures, infographics, fact sheets, customizable tags, all designed to provide clear and engaging information. And Jodi will talk more about this in detail in just a moment. The creation of these materials presents an opportunity for a program through this funding for a rebrand. So we went through a rebrand as well that ensures that our professional appearance and credibility as the program expands internationally is set. So by incorporating these universal certification markings into all materials and offering optional opportunities for co-branding within our state partnerships, it enhances its reach for the program, builds trust, and fosters confidence. Additionally, the program is undergoing a significant website rebuild. So the revamped platform will feature an online database and model to help streamline navigation for participants. It will also house all of the assets that you'll learn more about in just a moment. One other major aspect of this project funding that I wanted to note was the collaboration with the National Sea Grant Law Center to create a model legal framework aimed at supporting the implementation and nationwide expansion of this program. So this framework is designed to address inconsistencies in state laws and regulations, which often impair interstate commerce and trade, particularly in eastern states, where invasive species laws and regulations can be lacking sometimes. These disparities, along with a lack of legal authority, present significant barriers to the program's adoption. So this funding is going to help us to understand what those barriers are, identify the gaps, and give us a path forward. So we've conducted these comprehensive inventories on noxious weed statutes, regulations, policies, plant list across all 50 states. And this effort really builds on past successful initiatives, such as the model provisions for watercraft inspection and decontamination programs. The finalized model law and regulation package will serve as a resource for addressing policy gaps, facilitating interstate collaboration, and guiding future discussions to support the program's growth. All right, so I'd like to now introduce you to Jodi Hougan, NAISMA's program assistant and our weed-free products program lead, to share details about program management, implementation, and what's on the horizon as this program continues to expand throughout North America. Jodi?
Thank you, Christie. So we're going to start by introducing you guys to NAISMA and the committee roles for this standardization of the program. So the North American Invasive Species Management Association oversees the weed-free products program in collaboration with the committee, guiding its direction through the science-based certification standards, cross-jurisdictional coordination, and consistent training initiatives across North America. As the structural and administrative backbone of the program, NAISMA ensures effective implementation and long-term sustainability. By hosting the training platform, NAISMA supports the committee in designing and updating standardized certification courses that empower inspectors with the knowledge and tools needed to uphold the weed-free protocols. The Weed-Free Products Committee is a volunteer-led group dedicated to advancing program implementation. It plays a key role in developing and refining certification standards, advising on inspection protocols, and providing essential support to program partners, inspectors, producers, and consumers. Comprising engaged of NAISMA members who are actively participating in the Weed-Free Products program, it has 2 co-chairs, NAISMA staff members, and board representatives to address stakeholder concerns and enhance the effectiveness of the weed-free certification. Meanwhile, our program partners also are a big part of this, including government entities, industry organizations, and other key stakeholders are essential to effective implementation. Their contributions include conducting inspections, certifying compliant products, advancing weed-free practices within their spheres, and driving broader market acceptance. So here you can see this is a map of all of our program partners. So the program right now operates as a voluntary standard-based initiative to prevent the spread of invasive species through certified materials. Although participation in the program is voluntary, program partners formalize their commitment by entering into a memorandum of understanding with NAISMA, which outlines shared expectations for certification integrity, communication, and program alignment. NAISMA partners with a variety of state, federal, and local agencies. Some of our key partners include Department of Agriculture, local county weed associations, university extension agents, and crop and seed certification associations. Currently, the program has program partners in 27 states and 1 province, with additional states preparing to join in 2026 once some regulatory updates are complete in their state. Program partners play a crucial role in overseeing the certification efforts. So NAISMA houses the program and implements the training, but the program partners are the ones who are really overseeing the inspectors and the certification. So it costs $100 through an annual participation fee for the program, but they adhere to NAISMA's weeds-free certification minimum standards and ensure uniform participation. They designate their representatives from their organization or a private party to operate under their MOU as inspectors. They oversee those inspectors, they schedule the inspections, and they maintain the compliance records. They also support education efforts, promote weed-free products, and advocate for policy improvements and foster multi-jurisdictional cooperation. So the inspectors themselves. The program partners designate the inspectors under their memorandum of understanding to conduct weed-free product certifications. These inspectors, often professionals from the state of agriculture departments or weed management agencies, undergo training through NAISMA's Weed-Free Products Online Inspector Training. The Weed-Free Products Online Inspector Training delivers a structured, in-depth learning experience designed to fully prepare the inspectors for the certification process. It guides participants through each product's categories of minimum standards and guidelines, outlines detailed inspection procedures, and instructs on proper certification and documentation protocols. A dedicated module is also provided for the 56 invasive species listed on the NAISMA prohibited weed list, ensuring inspectors can reliably identify prohibited species across diverse materials and regions. Throughout the program, inspectors complete comprehensive knowledge checks that reinforce these critical concepts, verify understanding, and promote consistency in real-world application. Only those who successfully complete this training are authorized to certify products. Each weed-free product certification is valid for a period of 2 years and requires a $40 fee. To initiate certification process, a producer would contact their local program coordinator to schedule an inspection. During the inspection, the designated inspector evaluates the product to determine whether it meets NAISMA's weed-free standards. If the product passes, the inspector issues an official certification documentation and tags, which must be retained for proof of compliance. Now, there is an option that if the product does not meet certification criteria, that doesn't mean you're done and you can't get certified. The inspector will consult with the designated program authority to identify areas of noncompliance, discuss the corrective actions, and determine whether a reinspection may be scheduled for later on in that year. So now we'll kind of get down into the nitty-gritty of the program details and the products. And we'll explore the elements of the weed-free certification, including product types, minimum standards, inspection protocols, certification, whether you're a partner, inspector, producer, or consumer. Having a clear understanding of these guidelines is key to advancing responsible land management and supporting environmental conservation efforts. As Christie highlighted, the Weed-Free Products Program encompasses various material types, including forage, gravel, mulch, and compost. While each standard has a general set of provisions, guidelines, definitions, and required documentation, inspection criteria are tailored to the specific characteristics and applications of each product. NAISMA has developed certification standards to ensure that the weed-free products meet science-based standards, both protecting environmental integrity and economic interests. By verifying materials as free from invasive species at the time of inspection, the program certification standards serve as several key functions. So they provide the inspection guidelines for various materials. They ensure certified products meet minimum acceptable standards to mitigate the risk of invasive weeds. They maintain continuity across organizations, limiting the spread and transport of noxious weeds. And they protect natural resources, wildlife habitats, agricultural lands, property value, and the overall land and water quality. So some of these key components of the minimum standards include definitions to establish clear standardized terms to ensure consistency across the participating jurisdictions. And then the minimum requirements for certification define the essential criteria a product must meet to be recognized as weed-free. To be officially recognized as weed-free, a product must meet essential criteria ensuring compliance and uniform provision methods to halt the spread of invasive species. Then each standard also includes the NAISMA prohibited list, which includes 56 invasive species. So each selected through a rigorous evaluation process to ensure comprehensive protection against their spread. A panel of invasive species experts, land managers, and regulatory authorities carefully assess these species, considering both their current impact and potential risk across multiple states and jurisdictions. While individual states and regions may implement additional mitigation strategies tailored to their local regulations, adherence to NAISMA's prohibited weed list is mandatory for certification. Certified weed-free products such as forage, mulch, gravel, and compost must undergo inspections ensuring they are free from all of the 56 listed. Maintaining strict compliance helps prevent the unintentional transport of invasive plants across state lines, reducing the likelihood of infestations in vulnerable ecosystems. So going back to kind of the list, so it's been selected and everything, but that doesn't mean it's set in stone. So just recently, the program partners are allowed to add or petition to remove weed from the process. So we just had Ventanata petitioned in 2023, and that was successfully added to the list after a rigorous process of that. So, but to add or remove a species from the prohibited weed list, the program partner must submit a formal petition to the NAISMA Weed-Free Products Committee, including a comprehensive risk assessment. So that needs documentation of all the species, potential or actual impacts on natural resources. Or for removals, you need to submit justification for why the species is no longer considered a threat. We've never had any species be removed from the program yet, but like I said, we did have Ventanata just added in 2023. So, but the petition timeline, so you need to submit it 90 days before NAISMA's annual general meeting, which happens at our annual conference. And then the Weed-Free Products Committee will review it, and then they formulate a recommendation to the program partners. And then with that, with final approval by the NAISMA Board of Directors. And then it is taken to the NAISMA annual general meeting to see if the NAISMA would like to move forward with that. So approved changes are reflected in the Weed-Free Products Appendix A in the minimum standards. So then moves on to the inspection and certification process. The inspection certificate is a vital document in the certification process, ensuring that each weed-free product meets established compliance standards. While the core documentation requirements remain consistent across all certified product categories, including forage, mulch, gravel, and compost, each certificate is tailored to reflect product-specific inspection criteria. This ensures that the different materials undergo evaluations suited to the unique properties and intended use. So Appendix B in the minimum standards outlines the required documentation for certification, including the inspection date to confirm the exact date of the product was assessed for weed-free compliance, because these inspections do have expiration dates. Compliance verification, details on the inspection findings. Did they find any invasive species, or any notes that confirming adherence or uncompliance to the NAISMA prohibited weed list? And then the certifying authority details, which the inspector would sign the agency and jurisdiction responsible for that evaluation. Next, the field inspection standards and guidelines establish inspection protocols, include methodology, frequency, and documentation practices for consistent compliance evaluations. These standards establish a structured approach to inspectors, helping inspectors and certifying authorities maintain uniform weed-free verification across different product types. By adhering to these standards, inspections maintain program integrity, ensuring that the certified products meet uniform compliance across North America. And then the certification markings provide clear verification that products comply with NAISMA's minimum standards, reinforcing traceability, accountability, and consumer confidence. By distinguishing certified products from uncertified alternatives, the system helps maintain integrity throughout the supply chain. Each weed-free product is labeled with a standardized certification tag or sticker, featuring essential details such as a certifying agency, inspection date, and compliance status. And I'll go on this a little bit more, but forage also has specific twine colors that certifies it as weed-free. So this uniform format allows stakeholders to quickly confirm product authenticity and facilitates seamless validation across states and regions, whether products are used in agriculture, restoration, or construction. Consistent labeling supports cross-jurisdictional recognition, streamlining inspections. So, and then to further enhance some of this traceability, some of the certifications include unique identification codes, such as batch or lot numbers, enabling stakeholders to track product authenticity throughout distribution. These standardized markings not only uphold certification integrity, but also provide producers, retailers, and land managers with confidence in purchasing verified invasive-free materials. So to move on, we will start going through some of these standards, and we'll start with the forage program. So forage by definition under the minimum standard is any crop including alfalfa, grass, small grains, straw, and similar crops and commodities that are grown, harvested, and sold for livestock, forage, bedding, material, or mulch related uses by byproducts of those crops or commodities that have been processed into pellets, cubes, or related products. So the certified weed-free forage plays a critical role in multiple applications. Primarily uses livestock feed and bedding, it ensures that animals are not exposed to invasive plant species, reducing the risk of unintentional seed dispersal. This is particularly vital for horses, cattle, and other grazing animals transported between regions, where weed-free certification helps prevent the introduction of invasive species. So beyond livestock management, certified forage is essential for erosion control, particularly in agricultural land restoration and construction products. Straw bales and hay mats are commonly deployed to stabilize soil, prevent sediment runoff, and aid in vegetation establishment. These materials provide a natural barrier against the wind and water erosion while supporting revegetation efforts in dispersed landscapes such as wildfire burn areas, roadside projects, and degraded lands. So obviously the most common is bales. So large compact, we do small bales, large bales, round bales. Our certification ensures that the harvested material is free from those invasive species. The pellets, if they are not used, if heat is not used to treat those, the field of origin must be certified, ensuring the raw materials comply with the weed-free standards before they are made into pellets. And the cubed hay, so these themselves do not involve high temperature processing, so certification of the field of origin is mandatory to verify that the forage meets weed-free requirements before their transformation into cubes. The other special thing about that stands out from the other products is to maintain weed-free status, forage fields shall be inspected within a maximum of 10 days prior to cutting or harvesting. So this ensures that no new invasive weeds emerge between the inspection and baling process. So if circumstances prevent harvest for more than 10 days after the initial inspection, the field must be re-inspected to confirm continued compliance. Proper storage and transport following inspection is also critical and must be inspected, as contamination after certification can invalidate the weed-free status. This is a time-sensitive inspection protocol, helps uphold the integrity of NAISMA's program, ensuring reliable compliance while preventing the unintended spread of invasive species. So here you can kind of see a couple different options and twine tags that our partners use. So to ensure the authenticity of compliance with NAISMA's standards, certified weed-free products must be clearly identifiable. NAISMA's official twine and tags serve as visual markers confirming that a product has successfully passed inspection and meets certification requirements. So the twine is a distinct orange and blue striped twine that is used for baling forage, providing as a recognizable identifier for buyers, land managers, and transport authorities. Certified forage must include at least one full string of NAISMA approved twine per bale to maintain certification integrity. Cut or twine lengths of attached to a bale do not qualify as an official certification marker. While twine is optional, it remains a trusted tool for certification. The twine availability in ordering is done through NAISMA. The certified twine is available in 3 knot strengths and with pricing determined annually. So NAISMA provides updated pricing and order deadlines to the program partners via email each season. So the program partners are the ones who decide how many pallets they want to order. They place the order through NAISMA, and NAISMA does the rest of the ordering. They also pay for it up front. They will be in contact with the manufacturer, and that's how it gets done, and then it gets shipped directly to you. So that's the one downfall, is that you have to order it all at one time. You can't order it in the middle of the season because the facility does have to shut down to do the dyed twine. And then tags, official NAISMA certification tags that accompany certified products containing key details such as the inspection date, inspector identification, certification number, the region or jurisdiction, compliance statement of the prohibited weed list. And so this is something that we're working on with this funding that we received, is to have co-branded and uniform certification markings. Because as you can see on this, as the screen, everybody kind of has something different. They all include those key details, but they all look a little different. And we want a uniform tag so everybody can look at that and say, oh, that's NAISMA's weed-free products. So the approved certification marking system is a standardized specialized twine official tags, or you can also use a transit certificate if needed. So Forage has been around since 1993, was our very first program that started this. So you can see we have 27 states, 1 province, and California has 4 counties who actively participate in this program. So California's state entities do not hold the regulations. They designate it to the counties to perform those inspections. So that's why you'll see California is in orange there, because they are county-led and not state-led entities. Now for the gravel program. So the gravel by definition is small stones, pebbles, or a mixture of these with sand, stone, and gravel, as well as recycled concrete and asphalt materials. Gravel certified weed-free is essential material for construction, landscaping, and road maintenance, playing a crucial role in infrastructure development while preventing the unintended spread of invasive species. Used in projects ranging from highways and public works to private property enhancement, gravel provides a stable, durable foundation for roads, pathways, erosion control measures, and drainage systems. So by ensuring that the gravel is weed-free from invasive plant seeds, certification helps mitigate the risk of weed infestations along transportation corridors, work sites, and developed landscapes. So this is especially important in areas where disturbed soil or frequent vehicle traffic can accelerate the spread of these invasive species into natural environments. Certified gravel supports responsible land management practices and preserving native ecosystems and reducing long-term maintenance costs associated with it. While similar to the weed-free products program, the gravel certification process has distinct requirements tailored to the nature of the gravel pits and soil movement. So in a gravel inspection, you are allowed, or you have to do the gravel pits and burrow sites, and that includes surrounding ditches, topsoil piles. So any piles that you move have to stay on site. They're not allowed to be moved off site. And then you're looking at gravel and sand piles. You have to look at the fence rows, the roads, the easements, equipment areas. Anything around the equipment needs to be certified. The storage areas and transport routes to prevent contamination. Because you got to remember, if these trucks and stuff are going off and driving somewhere else, coming back on to the gravel pit that you're inspecting could transfer invasive species there. Gravel requires 1 inspection per year per NAISMA standards, but this could differentiate between laws of each state. Some states do require 2 inspections a year. But gravel is increasingly becoming required for state and federal construction projects, ensuring compliance with environmental regulations. We see more and more inquiries come through of where to purchase gravel for projects that are happening. And here you can see, so the gravel program started in 2006. So it's the second oldest program that we have. And right now we have 17 state agencies and 11 county agencies in this program. So Montana and Idaho both have forage MOUs held by the state, but any individual for gravel is held by the county. And same thing with California here. All right, the mulch program is certified weed-free, serves multiple critical functions across gardening, landscaping, post-fire rehabilitation, and erosion prevention. It provides a protective barrier for soil, retaining moisture, regulating temperature, and enriching the ground with organic material as it decomposes. By preventing direct soil exposure to sunlight, mulch also helps suppress weed growth, reducing the risk and contamination from invasive species. So in gardening and landscaping, mulch is used around trees, shrubs, flower beds, and vegetable plots to enhance the soil growth and improve aesthetics. It also acts as a natural insulator shield, rooted from the extreme temperatures while promoting water conservation in both residential and commercial settings. For post-fire recovery, mulch plays a crucial role in stabilizing burned landscapes. By covering scorched soils, it helps prevent erosion, reducing runoff, and limiting sediment displacement. This is especially vital in wildfire-prone areas where loss of vegetation increases the likelihood of landslides and habitat degradation. In construction and large-scale land management, mulch is widely used for erosion control and slope stabilization, applied along roadsides, embankments, disturbed sites, and reclamation projects. Mulch acts as a buffer against the wind and water erosion while adding the reestablishment of native vegetation. By ensuring mulch is weed-free, land managers, farmers, and homeowners can minimize the spread of invasive species, protecting ecosystems and maintaining healthy soils. So any mix of materials that consist of combination of vegetation or synthetic products that is manufactured as a whole or has each of its components parts sourced, certified according to NAISMA standards to ensure the material is not a source of weed seed or live vegetation propagandrals, and it is used for temperature, moisture, and erosion control with suppression or aesthetic purposes, and is applied solely as a surface treatment. So this we had to add some new definitions to. So the program distinguishes between two key areas. The area of origin is the area where material is stored, harvested, or produced prior to being transported to where it will be manufactured into a mulch product. And then area of manufacture is the area where the material or materials stored prior and to or during manufacturing and sale transport, including the buffer zone around the area. So there is an alternative certification for mulch without an origin inspection. So if mulch cannot be inspected at the place of origin, certification still may be granted if the producer gives proper documentation of site processes that meets the additional criteria, which includes at least 90% of the mulch must be larger than 2 millimeters in order not to prevent plant growth, or if more than 10% of the mulch is smaller than 2 millimeters in particle size, the mulch pile must maintain a temperature of at least 55 degrees Celsius or 131 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 days, and the pile must be turned twice at a minimum in that time frame. And here, so mulch was added not too long ago, just in 2021, so it's still a growing program. But we have 10 state agencies and seven county agencies participating in this program. And again, you can see it's those Idaho, Montana, and California, the ones where the states hold most of the forage MOUs, but the counties hold the other MOUs. Then compost. Certified weed-free compost is a valuable soil amendment that enriches soil health, enhances plant growth, and supports ecological restoration efforts. So in gardening and agriculture, compost boosts microbial activity, replenishes essential nutrients, and promotes strong root development, making it ideal for flower beds, vegetable gardens, orchards, and crop fields. It's the ability to improve soil and moisture retention, reduces the need for synthetic fertilizers and excessive irrigation, supporting sustainable cultivation practices. For land restoration, weed-free compost is particularly vital in reclamation projects, habitat restoration, and post-fire recovery efforts. By introducing organic material into depleted soils, compost fosters natural revegetation, stabilizes the land, and minimizes erosion risk. Ensuring that compost is free from invasive seeds is crucial for preventing unwanted species taking root into the ecosystems. So the definition of compost is the product that is manufactured through the controlled aerobic biological decomposition of biodegradable materials. The product has undergone mesophilic and thermophilic temperatures, which significantly reduce the viability of pathogens and weed seeds. So all of these are in accordance with the EPA 40 CFR 503 standards, and that's listed on the website and in the standards. So, and the reason that matters is because there's two ways to get certified for compost. So if a compost facility must meet at least one of the following standards to be certified. So that is, the compost facility must be permitted by the state or province where it operates, and the local, state, or provincial regulations must require adherence to the NAISMA approved composting processes. If not, facilities must follow the EPA 40 CFR 503 standards, including strict composting protocols designed to eliminate invasive weeds and seeds and pathogens. So, and then this is where those come into play. So this includes, if it's a static or windrow pile, the compost must maintain a temperature of 55 degrees Celsius or higher for 15 consecutive days for a minimum of 5 turns during that period. In vessel or mechanically aerated static piles, as you can see on the screen here, must maintain a temperature of 55 degrees Celsius for 72 consecutive hours using forced air systems. The compost moisture levels must be maintained between 40 and 60% and verified using a moisture content meter. And a minimum of 6 evenly spaced temperature and moisture readings must be taken per pile or windrow to ensure compliance. So, and by definition too with compost, so anything with green or brown material, so leaves, grass clippings, food scraps and manure, stalks, paper, wood chips, all of that is considered part of that. But while manure is often included in composting processes, raw or processed manure alone is not considered compost under these statements. And then, so compost was just added in 2023. So we only have 3 states and 1 county agency that are participating so far. All right, now that we have reviewed all the products and how do we get this information out about these products, and what if you have further questions? So as Christie mentioned earlier, NAISMA was awarded funding from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act to expand programming and develop resources to overcome barriers in consistent programming implementation across the nation. So through this funding, we are developing the free professional turnkey toolkits for partners, inspectors, producers, retailers, and consumers, which include, and you can kind of see here, so a prohibited weed ID booklet, which is a visual guide to help inspectors and stakeholders easily identify invasive species on the NAISMA prohibited weed list. We have brochures, infographics, and fact sheets, professionally designed materials highlighting benefits of certification, step-by-step inspection guidelines, benefits, and marketing materials. And there's also social media templates and training manuals, pre-made digital assets to support public outreach campaigns, produce marketing or product markings. So this I talked about we're trying to get a uniform look coming around. So, and then all of these materials are customizable to be co-branded to tailor documents and the logos and marketing assets to allow the program partners and state agencies to integrate their branding with NAISMA's framework. And next up is finding we found out that certified weed-free products proved to be a significant challenge, prompting a collaboration with Great Smoky Mountains and Yellowstone National Parks to develop a practical, scalable solution. So we are creating a toolkit just for the National Park Service too, and this will establish clear criteria for weed-free products to use in park facilities, restoration projects, and trail maintenance. We're going to collaborate with the parks and resource managers to align certification standards with ongoing conservation initiatives, providing training for park personnel, contractors, and visitors to ensure correct weed-free product usage. We'll create public outreach tools, identify and expand partnerships with current producers to meet the requirement demands of the national parks. We are currently in the process of exploring the transition to online electronic forms as an option to improve accessibility and efficiency across all processes. Digitizing forms could streamline the submissions and enable real-time verification of certifications. And then, so NAISMA has also, so we've always had an online directory for weed-free products. It's kind of been clunky and not updated and wasn't very user-friendly. So we are in the process of revamping the marketing strategy to expand the reach and visibility of the weed-free products program, ensuring producers, retailers, and consumers can easily access certified materials. So this directory will serve as a public accessible resource offering certifying agencies, so it can help users locate state, county, and federal authorities responsible for issuing certifications, certified weed-free product listings, so it enables buyers, land managers, and restoration specialists to search up the products that they're looking for and find out where they're located. And then to support this effort, so we're working with associations and the market research experts to refine outreach strategies too. This directory will be integrated into NAISMA's digital platform refresh, ensuring user-friendly experience that enhances accessibility and adoption. And then one of the last things that we were working on was the model legal compilation and gap analysis. So we are working with the National Sea Grant Law Center to conduct a legal compilation and gap analysis that will include the model state laws for weed-free program authority, model regulations for weed-free product program implementation, model partnerships agreements, and will identify a roadmap for priority states that could benefit from this program build-out. As you know, some states already have robust weed-free certification programs, for example, Colorado, but some states have programs but need improvements, and some don't have programs at all. So this assessment will help us identify that gold standard will look like for program implementation and will identify highest priorities of program expansion. Our goal is to harmonization state noxious weed laws and remove barriers for implementation of this non-regulatory program. We will provide on the website this template and language when other materials from the grant are complete. So although the release has been delayed of all of these until 2026, these materials lay a strong foundation for long-term success, establishing consistent standards across regions. So, want to join the program? Interested in implementing this program? To establish a memorandum of understanding, program partners must enter into an MOU with NAISMA to participate in the program. NAISMA collaborates with state and federal agencies, local governments, crop improvement associations, seed certification organizations, soil and water conservation districts, university extension agents, and other approved entities that oversee the plant management that includes efforts focused on eradication, containment, mitigation, compliance, and enforcement. And we realize there are some state agencies that are not allowed to enter into an MOU, and we will work with those partners to create formalized relationships that align with the state requirements for the NAISMA standards and participation. So you can check out our website at naisma.org to follow up, and if you are interested, all the program information is listed on there, and you can submit a form for approval if you would like to join the program, or you can reach out with the contact information that we'll show next. But right now I'm going to pass it back over to Christie.
Thank you, Jodi. It's a lot of information to pack within 1 hour. So we appreciate your time today and learning more about our non-regulatory certification program. As you can see, it continues to expand, and with this investment, we will be looking to move very quickly over the next few years in ensuring that most states have a program or have the resources they need to establish a program. And excited to have folks from New York joining us today. It is certainly a priority state, as you saw that on our map. We'd love to chat with you more about getting a program established. And as far as kind of the questions and follow-up, I know we just have a few minutes left. Happy to entertain those if anyone has questions at this time.
I don't see any questions in the Q&A just yet, Christy, but I'll just give it a moment. In the meantime, I have my own question. When do you expect to release those toolkits that you mentioned?
Yeah, so great question.
We're hoping to be able to release them at the beginning of 2026. So we had a pause in some funding, and so originally we were hoping for August of 2025, but that has been pushed now to hopefully, like I said, January of 2026.
Okay, that's great. And so you also answered one of my other questions, which was, how is it determined whether it's a state partner or a state agency or a county agency that becomes the program partners? And it seems like if they reach out to you, then they can find out that information about the MOU with a specific program.
Yes, and it all kind of depends on the laws and regulations of the state. If the state authority, it holds that authority, or if they designate it to a county level. So it kind of all depends on the state and your regulations.
Okay, so it may start with the state initially.
Yes.
Determining that. Okay.
That's usually where you start and find out how they would like to proceed with that. Because like I said, some of them, like Idaho, they hold the forage MOU for the state, but they don't want to do anything with the gravel, mulch, and compost. So that's all county level that runs those.
Okay. Okay, I don't see any other questions at this time.
So I'm sorry to interrupt. I've been trying to put some stuff in the Q&A, but they don't appear to be coming in. So I'm just going to read them.
Oh, okay.
Since apparently Rachel can't see them. So one is, can you clarify who's able to become a certified inspector? Do they have to be employees of the agency that entered into the MOU, or do partners ever use volunteers or non-employees to become certified inspectors?
So most use employees, but they are allowed to, whoever they want to reach out to. So we do have people that do have, I'm going to call private inspectors that they reach out to, but as long as the MOU holder or the program participant is working under that MOU, they are allowed to be an inspector as long as they have taken that training.
And then just one last one, in areas where the certification has become available, have you seen an increase in demand for those products now that it's kind of in the market?
We have, and as it tends to increase in other areas, then we start, like California, for example, it's almost like every 6 months we get a contact from another county and then they're signing up. So we're definitely seeing it grow as, and that's the same thing too, like you have one state and then Indiana just added, because Illinois and Iowa were there. So like it's definitely going across state lines and becoming more.
I did want to add too that part of U.S. Forest Service restoration contracts do require the use of certified weed-free NAISMA products. So we do have contractors reaching out to us to locate products, to understand the program. And as that continues to grow, I'm getting more calls every week about where do I find these products? How do I get my field certified? who is my state representative that I talk to? So we have seen a substantial growth of interest. I tend to field a lot of those questions and hand them back to Jodi. But implementation tends to be a barrier based off of state laws and regulation authority. And so part of that gap analysis that we're conducting at this time will really help us to identify, what states can we work with? What do those relationships need to look like? How can they implement the program? What does their funding structure look like? Do they even have one? Who do we work with that has the authority to not only inspect, certify, but also quarantine and enforce, right? Because there has to be some teeth behind the bite. So there are some moving parts that we continue to work through related to the program build out, but we are hearing from folks from all over interest in the program, and certainly a lot of that is driven by consumer interest. So that's exciting.
Great. Well, thank you everyone so much, and thank you to our speakers for joining us today for the webinar series. And with that, we hope to see you all hopefully at another NYISAW event this week.
Thank you.
Thank you.